If you've been wondering whether or not you should update to the latest Nvidia driver 545.92, then this video is for you. Because in today's video, I'll be comparing the most recent driver against the previous driver 545.84. So sit down, strap in, let's go. Right guys, as mentioned in the intro of the video, I'm going to be comparing the previous driver 545.84 versus the latest driver 545.92, which came out yesterday. And just for good measure, I also tested 537.58 so I can compare the three most recent drivers, which in my opinion have actually been pretty good. Sorry about my voice, it's pretty early, so let's get to it. So guys, before I get to the stats, if you are subscribed to the channel, please just make certain that you select that little notification icon so that when I do drop a new video, you are notified instantaneously. Other than that, if you can like, comment, and share the video, it really will help me with the algorithm. For those of you that aren't subscribed as yet, if you find this video helpful at the end of the video, please consider subscribing. And then just quickly, I do have videos on how to unlock undervolting for 10th gen and newer. Then there's videos on how to unlock undervolting for 9th gen and older, and a whole bunch of tutorials on my homepage, but you can have a look at that. Just getting to the GRD Driver Forum. So look, I will post this in the description of the video so you can go through it. People are picking up flaws, but for me, I actually found this latest driver to be pretty good. But there is a very important thing. When you see under open issues over here, GeForce GTX 10 series and then RTX 20 series, PC may randomly freeze, bug check when Windows hardware accelerated GPU scheduling and Nvidia SLR are both enabled. So basically, the way to mitigate this is to go into Windows settings, go into gaming, game mode, graphics settings, and if you have hardware accelerated GPU scheduling on here, which I do recommend, it does give you a little boost. I recommend you have to switch it off in the apps that use it, because Windows does it for you across all apps. But then if you have it on in apps, it's actually going to cause your screen to freeze and might actually cause some performance degradation. So make sure it's on in Windows settings, but then go into your browser. For me, it looks a little bit different, but basically it's just settings, and then for you in Chrome, it's just look for system settings, and then you just need to find the setting that says hardware accelerated GPU or hardware acceleration. Just make sure that's switched off, because it's going to cause your browser to freeze. Go to VLC. If you do use VLC, go to Tools, Preferences, Input Codecs, and Hardware Accelerated Decoding. It's on automatic by default, but just disable it. And then furthermore, in Steam, I actually had this problem up until about 2 months ago, until I figured out it was actually hardware acceleration. But just go to Steam, Settings, Interface, and then just make sure that Enable Hardware Video Decoding, if supported, is disabled, or else it's going to cause your computer to freeze. And then lastly, just go into Discord, go to user settings, and then just go to advanced, and then just switch off hardware acceleration in Discord, and then you should notice a little bit better performance in games, and you shouldn't experience any freezes as it mentions in the GRD Forum over here. But guys, getting to those results, as mentioned, I tested the three most recent drivers. All my games are tested medium settings, with the exception of the new games released in 2023. I do test on a GTX 1650 laptop, so the newer games are very heavy. In fact, I'm under spec for most games coming out these days. All my games are single player games. I always promise you guys, but I will incorporate online games such as CSGO, as well as PUBG and all that in the future. I just need to delete some games and make some space on my hard drive. And then I use FSR 2.0 or 2.1 set to quality. So the first driver that I tested was 537.58. I tested over 13 games, as you can see over here. When I added up all the average FPS, I got to a total average FPS over 13 games of 865. When I added up all the 1% lows, my 1% lows totaled to 645, which is pretty solid. And then when I tallied the 0.1% lows, I got to 530. So I highly recommended this driver, especially if you were on a GTX laptop or GTX desktop. 537.58 was really phenomenal. Also a very good driver, but slightly less stable was the previous driver, 545.84. Over those 13 games, when I added up all the average FPS, I got to a total of 865, so pretty much the same as the previous driver. And then when I added up all the 1% lows, I got to 645, which is exactly the same as 537.58. And then I added up all the 0.1% lows and I got to 518. So you can see on 545.84, rock solid driver. It's just on the 0.1% lows. There was a bit of a drop, very marginal, but a little bit of drop. So that's why I used to recommend 537.58. But I'm happy to say, look, it's not a shitload better, but on the driver release yesterday, 545.92, over the 13 games that I tested, I added up all the average FPS and I got to 861. So the average FPS is down by maybe 1 or 2 FPS per game. But the thing that makes this driver really cool is average FPS doesn't determine your performance. What really determines your performance is the difference between the average FPS and the 1% lows. So the smaller the gap, the better the driver. So when I add up all the average 1% lows, I get to a total of 648. So not a lot better, but it is noticeably a little bit better. So it's a little bit more stable, and that's why I recommend 545.92. And then when I added up all the 0.1% lows, I got to a total of 527. So 0.1% lows, slightly lower than 537.58, but the 1% lows are higher than 537.58. So over the games that I tested, I really like 545.92, but just guys, the steps I showed you earlier about the hardware acceleration, if you don't do what I told you, you're not going to experience the good performance that I get with these latest drivers. Since about 535.98, I think there's been a DPC latency issue, and the problem with hardware acceleration has become pronounced. So if you really want the best performance, I recommend the latest driver, but then do what I mentioned earlier in the video. Make sure hardware accelerated GPU scheduling is on in Windows, but then hardware acceleration is off in any other app that uses hardware acceleration. It's going to cause issues. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comment section. If you're still watching and you haven't subscribed as of yet, now's the time to do so. Guys, it's Friday. It's Cricket World Cup today. It's Rugby World Cup final tomorrow. I'm excited. Have a good one. It's people like you. Cheers.